I want you to live the life you were meant to live. Some of you are not transitioning because you're okay with the life you have. And I'm telling you, when I walk out, I want to be an example of you can start from wherever and get to wherever you want to get to. That's what I'm asking you to do. What fuels you? The reason why you're so lazy is not because you don't have the ability. You're so lazy because your dream's so small.
Everybody sees people who look great, who have all the confidence, who have all the self-esteem, who have all this ability, who have all these things going for them, and they think they got it all figured out. They think it's easy for them, and that's one of the justifications that they tell themselves, all right? It's not like there aren't days I don't want to go to the gym. The truth is, most of the days I don't want to go to the gym, but I do, even though I don't feel like it. It doesn't matter if there's a fucking tornado, if there's a snowstorm, if there's a hurricane, if the fucking world is on fire. The job has to get done. It's about executing regardless of your emotions.
You're waiting for all the situations to come together perfectly, and I'm telling you, you cannot wait. You gotta start working right now.
You take that first step towards greatness. It's very hard. That's the hardest step to do. That first step, right? That first step towards greatness is hard. What's a lot harder is when time expires in life. You look back on your life knowing you could have been great. That's something you can't control anymore. Time's run out. But if you don't believe you can do it, don't even start the journey. It's too hard. It's a winnable, easy war. But if you don't believe it, then don't do it.
Every single day of my life, I feel like giving 100%. Every single day. Somebody said yesterday, E.T., you gave 120. What you gonna do tomorrow? I said, I don't know. Give 140. I don't know, but I don't have days where I don't feel like it. Why? Because I'm counting on me. My wife's counting on me. My son's counting on me. I don't have days to wait.
Will there be some times that you want to give up? Yes. When you get into a tight spot, and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. Never give up then, and that is so important. When you're working on doing the things you want to do and fulfilling your dream, and things happen, there are times when your energy feels so depleted that you want to give up, that it looks just totally impossible. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, don't give up then. That's when you've got to fall forward, when life is kicking dirt in your face. Don't give up then. That's when most people turn back. If you've decided that this is what you want to do, you've got to become courageous to stand up within yourself, to face it and step forward.
Like life itself is a process of becoming. Part of man's ongoing historical drive to manifest his consciousness outside of his mind, in front of his eyes.
So apply jobs.
Listen to me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. There are people right now who are working who don't want to work. There are people who hate their jobs, but they keep getting up to do it.
As a matter of fact, you always make sure you take your annual average vaccine, because you never, ever, ever want to catch the disease of average.
You got to be totally committed. Everybody agree? You got to be completely uncertain. You want $1 million? You want $2 million? You want $5 million? How much money do you want? How much success do you want? How much notoriety do you want? You want a New York Times bestseller? Why can't you have everything? Oh, but I'm 65. So what? Man, Colonel Harlan Sanders made all his money after he was 65 years old. He wasted the first 64 years.
How much time do you have left? How much time do you have left? When you start thinking about that, we don't know. Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. Stop wasting valuable time. If you want something, you have got to be relentless.
You have to know what you want of your life before you become a master learner. Until I know what I want my life to be about, what I want to experience on a daily basis, what do I want my dreams to be, who I want to be, I don't know what to learn. I'm just going to be curious about things and I'll dabble in them. But that path to real true mastery is that part where we say, okay, what do I want my life to be about? Now let me develop the knowledge, the skills, the competencies, the capabilities to build into that life.
You've got to learn how to become resourceful. You've got to learn how to become creative. The power to hold on in spite of everything. The power to endure. This is the winner's quality. The hunger, the ability to face defeat again and again without giving up.
Motivation is kind of a strange word because it doesn't really mean what we think it means. We think it means that we're fired up to do something.
You know what you're after when you take action. You won't just be expending energy. You'll be moving yourself in a direction towards something you really, really want.
You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
You're already in pain. You're already struggling. Like, get something for your pain.
That's the thing. Success and failure are generally slow processes. The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will.
You don't want to just say, okay, I know what I want, I know what I want, and I'm just going to make it happen. This is how I'm going to do it. You keep hammering it, hammering it, hammering it.
You have to realize, you have to know, you have to accept that all your excuses are lies.
Don't matter whose fault it is that something is broken, if it's your responsibility to fix it.
But what I realize is it doesn't make a difference if you're smart, born in a wealthy family, born broke. I realize what makes people different is the energy level that they have, and the energy level is because of what's driving them.
And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth.
And when you get to the point where you can say, you let me down, I care more about me. I have standards. I have value. I want my life. I want my work. My family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, it has, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
I can't get this paragraph. I can't remember what the f***'s in this paragraph to pass this test to get in the military. Read it again. Still not getting it. Read it again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. And that's how I started learning.
It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight.
The one thing I can tell you for sure is that nothing is for sure. Life will often disrupt what you expected. That just as soon as you have it down in a nice, neat little box of how you think it's gonna go, it will never be what you expected it to be. So you gotta get used to being a little disappointed. You got to get used to being a little bit shocked. You got to get used to walking into situations and being flexible and adjustable. Because if you are not flexible, you cannot survive.
Sometimes we look at pieces in our lives that don't make sense. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Every painful time. Even though you don't like it, it's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Eventually, that will pass. You'll get through it, but you will be different. In those tough times, when you're uncomfortable, going through a loss, dealing with an illness, you could easily let it overwhelm you. Now, how the pain changes you is up to you. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, a new fire, excited about the new opportunities in front of you.
I'm not interested in your reality right now. I want you to get back to your dreams. I want you to get back to your goals, because no matter what is happening in life, you've got another 30 years, another 40 years, another 50 years, like you can't get stuck on. Look, I want you to look at your goals, and I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you know what it takes to make that happen? Like, do you, like literally, like, if this is all it's gonna take, 3 things, it's all it's gonna take. Do you know what it takes? And you guys have an advantage because you've been at this conference, I think, 3 days, you got a whole bunch of information. Look, the only thing it takes to go from where I went to, a homeless, high school dropout, sleeping in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans, I went from being a high school dropout, getting a GED, to having a PhD. Listen to me, the only thing it takes is knowing what it takes. So one day I woke up and was like, okay, E, stop talking about what you don't have. You need to know what you don't know so you can get to where you're trying to get to.
So being successful is not who you are, it's what you know. So I need to get a different relationship to knowledge. So I'm hyped, but I did not come here just so you can get pumped up or get hyped. You have been given information. You are this close to making every dream you wrote down happen. Why? Because you have been taught by the best of the best. You have been taught by the best of the best. You've been taught by people who've been doing this for years. You've been taught by people who love you and care for you. People who are giving you information that you're not going to get randomly on your own. And so you are this close to your dreams and goals. So I have to ask you the question. You have the information. Now what are you going to do with it?
You've got to be willing to change your ways. Your life is working. If you don't like what you have produced, you're a director, you are the star, you wrote this script. You produced this, whatever it is. If it's a hit, you produced it. If it's a flop, you produced it. Take ownership of it and decide to go back to the drawing board and rewrite the script that you are the star of. You have the power to do that. On this day, you can declare that I'm going to change. As you look back on your life, you can decide that I don't like what I produced here, and I want higher ground. I want to begin to experience more love. I want to have more adventure in my life. I want something that gives my life a sense of meaning. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been selected to head up a program called Project Life in Chicago, training thousands of kids. And I had the experience, we had our second session this past Monday. And to see these young people when they came in, and to see the young people and the parents and the community volunteers when they went out. One young man from the Cabrini Green housing projects who didn't want to be there, who came up and said, I want you to know I'm so glad to be here. And he said, I'll never be the same again. He said, thank you, Mr. Brown. He said, I just got to go now, but thank you, sir. I'll never be the same again. To see a letter I got from a young man who was in the Cook County Jail where I work on Monday morning. And this young man will not be out of jail for at least 50 years. At least 50 years. They gave him 100 years. This guy has shot at least 60 people that we know of and killed 10 at least. And this letter he wrote, he said, since listening to your tapes, he said, I have not changed, but I feel a different person in me. Over 70% of these young men are in there for murder. We wanted to have a two-pronged attack where we would train people on the outside and train those that are in the jails, because I believe if you cage them like animals and treat them like animals and they're out on the streets every 22 months, they're going to get out and act like animals and go back in like animals. So we said, let's take an approach. This gives me my life. This might be insane. But I felt so good. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, if we can accept the possibility of that this is the decade of consciousness. That's what I believe that this is. The decade of consciousness, if you please. A time where we can begin to create in folks' minds the idea, the possibility that we can create a more humane society, the possibility that we can create more love, communication, and understanding in relationships, the possibility that we can create a drug-free America, the possibility that we can create the kind of respect for diversity and difference in our multicultural society, the possibility that we can begin to develop the mindset to bring out the best in people, to encourage them to achieve their greatness and support them in their dreams, that if we can, in this decade of consciousness, to begin to see and envision that happening, and that we all can play a role, that we were born for such a time as this, that we showed up for this, that we survived 1 out of 9 million sperms, and we have been chosen for this great work. What an exciting time to be alive.